Welcome, everybody, to the top producer interview for the Mortgage Mastermind Group. I'm Paul Baxter. I am here with the founder and mentor and mortgage guru, Mr. Chad Bates. Chad, what's happening today, my friend?
It's a great day in Texas. How are you doing, Paul?
It's a great day in Florida, too. Well, actually, we got a rain event going on today. It's one of those all-day drizzles, never enough to be anything worth talking about, but just drizzling all day long. Other than that, I'm doing fantastic.
You can always send that drizzle our way. We always need water.
That's for sure. Well, my grass needs it just as bad, probably. Guys, girls, we have a fantastic class for you today. Today's presentation. This is something that Chad has worked on. I think, Chad, you started presenting this to loan officers. I think you said 1993. Is that correct?
Yes, 1993, Paul, and it's kind of a life work, if you will, studying a number of different successful mentors and how they approach things, and then I kind of merged in thought processes from people like Stephen Covey, Anthony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, and many others, and then came up with a few of my own to develop what I call creating your compelling future.
So what this is, guys, is this is a culmination of years and years of study, fine-tuning, and really thinking about, we all think about our businesses every single day. It's what we do. It's if you're not thinking about your business every day, you may be in the wrong business. And so over a period of time, what Chad's created here is creating your compelling future. And this is a way for you to really create and formulate a plan for purposeful planned implementation. You hear us talk about that quite often. Have a plan to implement. Don't just have an idea, have a plan to implement the idea. And what creating your compelling future is it's literally a direct way for you to put it on paper, to put it out in front of you so that you've got that visual, that it's in your mind, you're always thinking about it. And so what this does is it gives you a plan for successful business as well as a successful life, because our goal is to achieve balance. And Chad, I've heard you talk about that balance between business and life and your philosophy on that. And I think it's important that everybody hear that before we kind of go into the plan itself, is understanding what this balance means.
Well, and I don't think that we probably ever truly achieve life balance, but it's in striving for it and planning for life balance that we get closer to the mark. And I think the key thing philosophically is I firmly believe that we cannot be successful in business if we're not addressing other areas of our life. We're intertwined. We're as human beings, we are dependent on all the different factors that impact our life. And if we have an area of our life that is off kilter, it's going to impact our business success as well. If our business is not successful, it's going to impact our personal life. So, it's all intertwined. And I want to go back to the title and give a little bit of frame of reference. Creating your compelling future. And the key word there is compelling. What we are striving for in this process is to put together a plan, and you're going to hear me say this a couple of times, that really arouses your passion about succeeding in business and in life. And so that compelling word, I think, is a key word to drive home, Paul.
Absolutely. All right, so as I mentioned, this is something that Chad's worked on for a lot of years. And so to use the creating your compelling future, use the little form that we've got. And Chris, if you could go ahead and send that form out to everybody that's on the call right now. I want everybody to take a quick second. Normally you will hear me say, don't multitask, you want to be paying attention. Take a quick second, open up the chat box on the GoToMeeting control panel. You're going to see a link that was sent to you from Chris. Click on that link. It's just a Google Drive link, and that's going to give you the ability to open up and view this form as Chad is going with it. Now, you can rest your eyes on the form. You can go through it. I want you to have it open and available so that you can follow along as Chad goes through these action steps that you're going to take to create your compelling future.
And I think, Paul, it's important to note here, too, is that we don't want you filling this form out as we walk through this. This is an overview, and in our back office and for our members, there is a more detailed step-by-step recording where I will help walk you through. You can pause at certain points and help walk you through putting together your written plan. But we want to go through conceptually first and then have you do your Creating Compelling Future at a later date in detail.
Absolutely. And so just make sure you've got access and you've downloaded that form. So we're going to go ahead and move on now. That should be enough time for everybody to click the link and open it up on Google Drive. So have that available. It looks like everybody's done that already. So we'll go ahead and move forward now. So the first part, and I love the way that you start out with this because it really, and I want you to kind of talk about the difference between dreams and goals. So you're starting out with your dreams, not just your goals. And what I love about it is you've got these 4 categories of life balance and how they work with one another. So talk about the dreams of these 4 categories.
Well, what I really want our members to do is to kind of, if you took all your limits off, what would you really want to do with your life? What would be your top 10 dreams? And then measure those to see if we're trying to approach some type of life balance, which of the dreams tie into professional dreams, which tie into our spiritual well-being, which tie into our family/social well-being, and which tie into our physical well-being. Again, those are the 4 categories that I look at in terms of life balance. Now, the difference between a dream and a goal is a goal should be something that you're trying to achieve in a given period of time, like a year, okay? So if I have goals for 2015, those goals are going to be listed. But I may have dreams that are going to take longer for me to achieve. And so on our form, I've got in here timing 1, 3, 5, 7, and 10 years. And then what I want you to do is circle one of those as you put the dream out there. And then I want you to measure yourself in terms of life balance by circling one of the 4 different categories: professional, spiritual, family, social, and physical well-being. And then I want you to ask yourself, are these dreams measurable? So that's a real key concept here. Can you measure it? It's, a dream is not just a concept like be happy. A dream is to achieve a certain level of success with a defined, measurable outcome. And then asking yourself, is your dream list of your top 10 dreams balanced? In other words, do you have the 4 different categories that we're striving to achieve some balance in? Are they all addressed? And it may be that one of those things is to achieve peak physical performance for your age group by getting X% body fat or something of that nature. That's measurable, but it has to do with our physical well-being. For a family social, it might be to take a family trip to a certain destination by a certain time frame. That's like a real bucket list type item, but it's defined and when are you going to do it and where are you going to go. Again, I want you to think in terms of this is supposed to be a compelling future that we're working on creating here. So what arouses that passionate level of action that can get you motivated to stay on track? And that really, does my dream list arouse passion? Because if we awaken the passion within ourselves, we are going to have a lot easier time staying on task on a day-to-day basis, doing the things on a day-to-day basis that will help propel us to accomplishing our dreams.
I love the one of the things that you make very clear, and it's important everybody to understand when you go through this exercise and you actually sit down with the form that you received and you start writing out these dreams, I think it's important that you understand that these are your dreams of your life. Eliminate the restrictions. Don't include limits on it. You know, if your dream is to fly a helicopter, then make that your dream. There doesn't need to be limits or restrictions on your dreams. You know, I've never flown a plane in my entire life, but my dream is to fly a helicopter. You know, that's removing limits and removing restrictions.
And I think what it does, Paul, is if we start with our dreams and we remove restrictions in our minds, then it opens our minds to new possibilities. And I think you know, what type of a life would it be if we said, I've got a ceiling that I can never move past? You know, so we don't want to go into this with our dream list having limitations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we open our minds to possibilities, that's how everyone that I know that's ever achieved significant success, they strive for that big hit. You know, they open their mind to possibilities, and they have that, you know, some people call it the big, hairy, audacious goal in mind, you know, or dream, because the more we open our minds, the higher the limitations that we place on ourselves, or as I prefer to say, no limitations, then we open our minds to new levels of success.
I saw you had made a quote the other day that absolutely speaks to this, Chad, on your Facebook page that said, if you believe you can do it, or if you believe you can't, you're right. And that's kind of what you're talking about here is if I believe, you know, wholeheartedly that I can eventually fly a helicopter, well, that becomes an attainable dream or goal. That becomes something that I know because I believe I can do that.
And I think that's a consistent thread in my study of top mentors over the years. Expanding our mind to new possibilities is something, they may say it different ways, but that is something that's consistent with all top performance coaches in industry in the world. I mean, Stephen Covey, you know, his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is a big influence on some of the components that I've got put into this creating a compelling future. Zig Ziglar's mindset of helping up other people get what they want, and anything you want or need can come to you. Those are big, you know, those people framed my mind, and I had the good fortune of being able to sit down and break bread on a number of occasions with both of those individuals. God rest their souls, and man, what an influence they've had on me.
So the big thing, and this is something you guys have heard me talk about this on numerous occasions. You've heard Chad talk about this on numerous occasions. This is, in my opinion, this is probably the single most important part of creating your compelling future, is knowing and understanding what your why is, the why factor. You know, what motivates you? And this quote, this line that you came up with, this just kind of struck me, Chad, and I've been repeating it in my head since you said it. What motivates you to a passionate level of action? What do you mean by that? Tell me what you mean by passionate level of action.
Well, it goes back to what I firmly believe, Paul, is if we have these big dreams, and it does really arouse passion within us, then we're going to want to get out of bed and get after it and make sure we do the things on a day-to-day basis that we need to do with passion. And you can't fake passion. Either it's there or it's not.
Yeah. Oh, that is a true statement, my friend.
So, you know, the why factor is identifying those things. I'll give you a few examples for me. One of the things that I have challenged myself with for many years is that I didn't feel like that I was really achieving my God-given abilities or levels of success. And so that's one of my whys, is to achieve the level of success that God has programmed into me and given to me so that I can make a difference in other people's lives. Certainly, and I will tell you candidly, one of my why factors is a flip side, and this may come as a little bit of surprise to some of you, but I have a fear of failure. I don't want to fail. And that motivates me to a passionate level of action. So you can take a twist on it. It doesn't have to always be on the positive side. I can use that fear of failing as a positive motivational tool to help motivate me to a passionate level of action. And this goes back to some things that happened in my childhood where I was told over and over again that I couldn't do certain things. I remember running for class president my junior year in high school, and my dad came to me and said, what are you doing these posters for? And there was a bunch of my classmates over in my garage putting posters together, and they said, well, Chad's going to run for class president. And he looked at me and said, why in the world would you do that? There's no way in the world you're going to win. So I've used that as a tool to motivate me throughout my lifetime, because I want to prove that I can do those things. And by the way, I did win that election.
I was getting ready to ask, how'd that election go for you? And you know what? The answer to that is insignificant. The moral of that is that you used that as a motivation and passion to take action, and whether or not you achieved your goal, you stepped through your fear of failure and you did it anyway.
Absolutely. And that's, again, what motivates you? That's the question that I want our members to ask themselves. Is it's going to be different for every one of us. But what motivates you to a truly passionate level of action where every day you get up and you're ready to hit it hard and you're ready to accomplish those things on a day-to-day basis that you need to do in order to accomplish your goals in a given year and then your dream list.
And that's why I think that's one of the most important factors here, Chad, is because these are the things that move us. These are the things that make us get up in the morning and smile because it's another day and we can do that thing that makes us move, that gives us action. Or we can wake up and say, you know what? I'm going to prove them wrong again today. Yesterday I proved them wrong, and today I'm going to prove them wrong again. They said I couldn't, and I'm going to. And so that's why I think understanding your why and having a clear idea of what that why is, what it is that motivates you to a passionate level of action is the catalyst to any business plan that you put together. Because if you don't understand what that why is, or what those passions are that motivate you to that action level, then you'll sit there with a beautiful plan and wonderful dreams and goals with no real motivating factor to accomplish them.
Well, and I think the key is here, we have to be brutally honest with ourselves when we ask this question. And it takes some deep soul searching. And sometimes all of us, will kind of want to gloss over and not address the tough questions or issues that come to our mind. And so we kind of have to peel back the layers of the onion a little bit and be candid with ourselves. And that's why, for instance, saying fear of failure is a motivator to me, because it is. And but I had to be really honest with myself. It's not something that I'm necessarily proud of. But it's part of who I am. And so, be honest with yourself when you're identifying your why.
So you write down the top 5 whys is the number on the form that you guys have that we gave you access to. You're going to literally write down the top 5 things that motivate you to a passionate level of action.
And the reason that I chose 5, Paul, was important because I wanted to distill down what truly are your top 5. What I recommend is when you're going through this exercise, you might just have a stream of consciousness, write down 20 or 30 things that would motivate you. But then distill it down and pick out the top 5.
Right.
Or maybe have a combination of a couple of them where they become part of the top 5, because we want to get some real clarity in this exercise. This is a key component of this exercise.
So the next the next step on the form as you're creating your compelling future is setting up goals. To strive for life balance, you want to set a goal for all 4 aspects of your life, whether it be professional, spiritual, family, or physical. You want to have a goal for each one of those aspects of your life. And I think that's a big part of it, is setting a goal professionally, setting a goal spiritually, being able to set a goal for your family and your social life as well as your physical life. Why is that such an important thing, to make sure that you've got a goal for all the aspects of your life?
Well, to me, Paul, it's like I said before, at the risk of repeating myself, we cannot be successful in one area of our life. We can't be successful in business if we are constantly struggling with other areas of our life. If we don't have good health, and we don't, we're not eating properly, we're not working out, we're not taking care of ourselves from physical well-being, it's going to impact the other areas of our life. And so the goals is different from the dreams. The dreams may be longer term, they may be bigger picture type things. These goals would be specific goals that you want to achieve in the year 2015, as an example.
Like I want to lose 10 pounds by November 1st.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Put some, again, they need to be measurable, they need to be specific. It might be for professional, maybe you have a goal of being the #1 producer. Maybe that goal is going to take 2 or 3 years in your market to be, you're doing 30, 40, 50 transactions a month. Well, your goal for 2015 might be to go from 5 transactions a month to 10 on average. Again, specifics, measurable type things. If it's spiritual well-being and you really feel like you've not been connected spiritually, maybe it's taking time to do some Bible study 30 minutes a day in the morning, or making sure that you get re-engaged with a church or something of that nature on a weekly basis. So again, specific type things, and I'm not going to go into my own personal spirituality. I don't want to have to I'm not trying to impose that on anybody, but I can tell you this, in those times in my life when that component was not right, it did impact other areas of my life, and I think that's a good example.
And I think that goes, spirituality does not necessarily have to be religious. If it's about working on your soul. It's about, finding a place that allows you to feel at one with yourself, at one with your depiction of your God. For me, it's church. One of my goals that I set going through this is to make sure that I attend a church service at least 3 times a month. I hadn't been doing that, so that's my spiritual goal, because I know I feel better when I do so.
Exactly.
All right, so very important, and you kind of pointed this out, and I in hearing it, I thought it was a really important statement to make. And so what you said was that this is your plan. This is not just a once a year kind of deal that you sit down, you fill it out, and poof, there's your plan for the year. Talk about why this is living and breathing, and why it's such an important thing that it is you make it your own.
Well, I think the key thing is, Paul, there's a lot of people that do a written business plan, and they do it once a year, and then they set it on a shelf, and they revisit it a year later. When I say I want it to be a living, breathing document, I mean that. I mean, should be something that you review for a couple of minutes each and every day. Our minds get programmed by whatever it is that we do on a day-to-day basis. And if we're programming our mind through reviewing this plan and going through some visualizations and affirmations that we'll talk about a little bit later, we subconsciously start programming our mind to achieve these things. And it's amazing how the human mind works in that regard. So if we are doing it and we say, I've accomplished that goal, and now I'm going to change my goal to a higher goal, that's okay. That means we're making positive progress. So you should be able to change it. Let's say that on the flip side, you set a goal, and because of some setback physically or in your personal life, you're not going to be able to achieve that goal. Don't beat yourself up on that. Revise your goal. You know, I'm not saying to take, you know, to take less than what you deserve, but it should be a realistic type plan that can change as you need to change, and give yourself that strength of knowing that.
And that's the next part, is business planning. And this is by far my very favorite Zig Ziglar quote. I know I think it's yours too, Chad. And this goes along the lines of the way that you do business planning. It goes along the lines of the way that what we teach here at the Mortgage Mastermind Group. It's really a core value that we believe in, that if you can establish this as your core value, you're going to go a long way with achieving your goals and living out your whys and you know, realizing your dreams. And the quote is, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people to get what they want. Help others get what they want, and everything you want and need will come to you.
And Paul, this is absolutely one of my core philosophies that I live my life by on a day-to-day basis. And as I said before, I had the good pleasure of, on several occasions, sitting down and having lunch or dinner with Zig. And if you could see the passion that he has for exactly behind this quote when he was alive, it was absolutely contagious. And, you know, the nice part is we can have that same passion, and we can be contagious and positively impact our referral partners, our loan processors, our fellow peers in the mortgage business, our borrowers, by having that servant leadership approach that Zig always displayed 24/7.
Well, and you talk about balance. The living your life by this quote gives you great balance. I mean, if you do this in your personal life, you achieve great friends, you achieve great respect, you are seen as somebody that cares and is trusted. You do this in your business life, the same thing. You're branded as an expert, somebody that, you know, I mean, it just, doing this in business and in life gives you that true balance.
So it really should be the acid test. If we ask ourselves at the end of the day, or as we're going about a particular task, is this going to help somebody? You know, it's very powerful, and we cannot gloss over this. This is an important component, like you said, of everything that we believe in.
So what you need to do now, guys, on the form is you're going to be setting your income goals. You're going to put a dollar amount on it. Figure out, you know, what is your actual income goal. You know, is it 100,000? Is it 500,000? Is it 700,000? Is it $1 million? What is your actual income goal? And then you got to determine where you are now. And I love the way that you did this. You've got an actual formula for people to sit down, and if you follow the formula that Chad's given you on the creating your compelling future form, it looks like you all are looking at it now. It's a direct formula that you can use to determine this. So it's basically what it boils down to: what is your average commission on each loan in the past 2 months? You're going to divide that number by your income goal, and that's going to give you where you need to be. How many closings do you need to have in the next 12 months to accomplish your goals? To accomplish your goals, you need to achieve the following, and that's the mathematical formula. It's there. It's average loan size multiplied by annual production divided by 12 months, and that gives you what your monthly goal is. And then Chad gives you, go even further with it. Go even further with it to determine what you need weekly. Your monthly goals divided by 4.33 equals your weekly goal. Why is it important, Chad? Why did you give the formula in this way, to give everybody the ability to break down that monthly goal into a bite-sized chunk like a weekly goal? What's the importance of that?
Well, it's the old thing of, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, first off, probably less than 1% of loan officers in the country even have a written business plan. Probably less than 1% have a specific income goal. And so by going through this exercise, you're going to challenge yourself a little bit. But there will be weeks that we don't hit our goals, right? I mean, things happen. Life happens. We don't get that many referrals in a given week. But if we break it down to a weekly, and then sometimes I've even done it on a daily basis, then if we have a bad day, then the next day we get up and we start over. We reset. But by having this goal out there and breaking it down by weekly goals, then we again will be focused on possibly coming closer to the mark than we would otherwise. And again, this can be revised. And I think it's also important that we're in the loan business. Not every single loan that we look at, and this is stepping ahead a little bit on the form, but not every single loan that we look at are we going to be able to accomplish. So we need to factor in a key component that a lot of loan officers don't ever think about is what's the fallout percentage. Mm-hmm. And so we want to go through that as part of our thought process also.
Well, the next part that we've got on the creating a compelling future is where are you going to get these loans? Where are the loans going to come from? You know, you've now determined what your number is, how many you need per month to achieve your annual, your actual goal, how many you need per week to get that monthly goal, to get that annual goal. Well, where are we going to get these loans from? Where are these pillars? And I love the, you know, if you remember, guys and girls, we did a class a month or so ago, creating a diversified mortgage business, where Chad broke down the multiple pillars of his mortgage business and where the different revenue streams are. And that's what we're looking for here, or what you're looking for on your compelling future, is where are you getting loans from? Where are they coming from? You know, some of the places that Chad uses, you know, Consumer Direct, Chad uses Active Rain and search engine optimization ways to be able to generate some Consumer Direct loans. Real estate agent partners, golly, I mean, Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, that's probably the single biggest source, so to speak, of any of them.
Oh, no question, and the others should complement that pillar as well. That's, you know, but if we generate some leads that we can take back to our referral partners, then you've got a true partnership. We're not just going in trolling for loans. We bring value to the table and bring business to the table.
And guys, all the different sources, you want to make sure that you're including them. If you're doing presentations and that's a source that generates loans, include that. Facebook ads, for those of you that are implementing the Consumer Direct Facebook ads program that we've talked about and helped you with here. Past clients, I mean, I put that in the same category as your real estate agents, don't you?
Absolutely. And again, if you go back to our tagline, strategies, systems, implementation. So what is your strategy for Consumer Direct generated leads? What systems do you employ to feed that? And then how are you going to implement it? Purposeful plan implementation. So each of your pillars, you should be asking yourself those questions.
Now, the big part is, and again, guys, this is done in a way to help you get a full understanding of your business so that you can improve, so that you can create yourself a compelling future. So what you're going to do is you're going to determine what percentage of the loans come from where. You know, what percentage of loans come from the Facebook ads? Estimate how many come from your referral partner sources. And what is the percent of that? The goal is to have 4 or 5 revenue streams, pillars of success. Golly, in the diversified mortgage class, Chad, if you had to guess, how many different pillars do you guys run in your mortgage business?
Well, we're implementing some additional ones now, but I have found to get to a peak performance level, you really need to have at least 4 or 5 pillars. But when you get to where you can start adding assistance and what have you, it's easy for you to get up to 8 or 10 pillars.
Okay. So start out with, you know, if start out with 4 or 5 and then grow from there as the business starts warranting it.
Absolutely. And as you can either hire a virtual assistant to help you implement a new business pillar, or have a full-time assistant or a loan partner that can free you up on time.
What percentage of fallout, and you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's something to absolutely be thinking about, is what percentage of fallout are you going to have?
Well, and I think the key here is this will be different for different business pillars. Obviously, the least amount of fallout we're going to have is going to be a referral from a trusted third-party referral source, and the key one being realtors, of course, because they typically have done some level of pre-qualification. They haven't pulled credit, well, maybe that's our job, but they've done some level of at least motivation pre-qualification before they've referred them, and the fact that they were referred by a third party means that they already have some type of a third-party endorsement, which is huge. So I have found that the fallout percentages of realtor-referred applications has among the least amount of fallout. Conversely, if you're working on some internet leads or something of that nature, and it's really a dollar for dollars type thing, you're going to have a much higher percentage of fallout. So you need to look at your fallout percentage based on your different business pillars, and that might also give you some direction in terms of which pillars you want to implement.
Focus more heavily.
Yeah, you focus on the ones that have the lower levels of fallout. By knowing our numbers, this is a whole different class, but by knowing our numbers, we will have more control over our business. I can tell you as another example that because of the active rain postings and the fact that Google recognizes our postings, and people have read those articles before they pick up the phone and call us or email us, those have a lower percentage of fallout, I found, than other internet-based leads, because they perceive us as being experts in a given area subject matter. For instance, 203Ks. We've done a lot of 203K active rain postings in all the different markets throughout Texas. When people call, they say, I see you're the expert on 203Ks. And so they have a comfort level because we've given some value to them up front, which then helps build credibility.
Proof positive that perception is reality in the world that we live in. You know, if you can paint that perception, it becomes reality to those around us.
Absolutely.
And so going back to the fallout, and you kind of touched on that, is determine the number of applications you must have after fallout to meet your goals from above. So if I establish that my goal is I need to have 10 loans, a month, which equals out to be 2.5 loans per week, well, how many applications do I need to have in order to get that 2.5 loans per week? Is it, and again, taking fallout into consideration, well, if this particular source is, some active, we'll just kind of play with the active rain postings in different areas, I know that I need to get 7 applications to get my 2.5 loans out of it, or I need 3 applications for every single loan, so that means I need 6 plus 2, that's 8 applications. That's what we're kind of trying to help you break down here, is really put together a plan or a compelling future, break it down to where it's viewable in a way that you can really see what it is that has to happen each and every day for you to be successful in your business and in your life. It's about meeting our goals, and you need to know how to get to them. How many relationships do you need to achieve for those numbers? Is it, if it's realtor partners and you know that you get 1 every other month from your realtor partners and your goal is 15, well, then you need 30 real estate agent partners. Is it, I don't know what the number is, Chad, maybe you can enlighten me on this, but if it's the mobile voice routing is my source for this, how many calls do I need to take to get that number of loans I need to achieve my goal?
Go ahead.
I think
the here, Paul, is and again, we'll do a separate class on this, but I've been working on a spreadsheet that will give us a detailed tracking of how much money we invest in a different pillar and what type of return on investment are we getting off of that, and what type of business do we actually get off of. Remember, we're in business. If we're not thinking in terms of return on investment and multiples of what we're spending money on, then we're not approaching this business correctly. I'm amazed how many people will go out there and they go after that shiny object and they'll spend all kinds of money, and they don't. At the end of the day, you ask them how many loans they've gotten from spending that money, and they can't answer you, or they keep spending the money. And I've been guilty of this in the past. You keep spending the money without really thinking to yourself, am I getting business off of this? And so, again, to be able to know your numbers is very empowering. So, and I will tell you that on average, unless you have a really deep relationship with a real estate agent, I think a good rule of thumb is to have one transaction every other month from a decent realtor referral source. I think that that's a realistic expectation. There will be times that
absolutely.
You may have a few that you get 2 or 3 or 4 transactions a month, and boy, those are gold. I mean, put those in your platinum level category and make sure you pay attention to those, because those are few and far between.
You're going to write out your current sources, and then you're going to also write out your prospective sources. And I love that this is part of the exercise, Chad, because it gets me thinking, or it gets you thinking about, okay, here's where my sources are, and this is how I'm going to, but boy, I'm not getting anything out of these sources. I should be doing some business with presentations, or boy, I'd sure love to be able to get some of those consumer direct leads so that I can bring those back to my referral partners and strengthen up my current source with that prospective source.
There's no question, and if we think about creating a compelling future, we're the CEO of our own mortgage business. I don't care whether you're a loan officer, branch manager, or owner of a company. You're the CEO of your mortgage business. And so think in terms of a strategic plan. That's really what we're doing here. We're putting together a strategic plan for our business and for our life at the same time.
And the next step that you kind of go into is, so far what we've done is we've talked about, or we've written down what our actual dreams are. We've written down what our goals are. We've written down exactly what our motivation that gives us a passionate, what motivates us to a passionate level of action, our why, what gives us that why. We've figured out all that stuff, and we've broken down what our numbers are, and now what we need is a daily plan to make it actually happen. How do we plan to actually make these things happen? And the first step, and I love that you do this as a first step, and I'm a big fan of self-talk. I don't know about you, Chad, but well, actually I do know about you without even having to ask, because you've included it as part of this process, and I've heard you do it in the past. You're going to write out a statement to yourself about what you need to do on a daily basis to really focus on achieving these goals.
Absolutely, and self-talk is where it all starts, Paul. There's no question about that. But and you want this to be a positive statement. You want this to be something that when you read it, it helps you get that laser vision focus on what you need to do on an hour-to-hour basis, and a day-to-day basis, and then a week-to-week basis. And again, this daily plan that we're going to go through, we want to design this as if it's our perfect day, realizing that in the mortgage business, it is very easy just to walk into the office and have things pop up that control you instead of you controlling your day. And so we have to consciously be thinking about every hour what we need to be doing. Not that you're ever going to achieve that perfect day fully implemented again. I recommend at the end of each day you ask yourself, where were you on track, where were you off track, and what can you do to improve tomorrow to get closer to that perfect day. Again, that's part of that subconscious programming that we can do to play games with ourselves to get our mind thinking about, even when we're sleeping, creating solutions for whatever challenges we're facing. And
I
have
can't
seen
think of
that
a single person. I can't think of a single successful person that I know that does not do this, does not have a time block or break down their day, whether it be hourly, bi-hourly. I don't know that. I don't know that I've seen a difference. You know, some people have, you know, some tasks may be a half an hour task and another task may be a 2-hour task. But I know to the man, the people that I know that are most successful, every one of them do this.
And on the form, we've got on here from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Some of you are night owls. You can change that around. You know, some of you don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Other people do. So change it around to fit your needs. Remember, this is your plan.
Or if you're like me, throw 5 o'clock in there if you're a morning guy.
Absolutely.
move it the other direction. And part of that daily plan is, in addition to the time blocking, is a daily affirmation.
And I think that the key thing is here, if this is going to be truly a living, breathing document, then we want to have some time in our day, whether it's when we're having a cup of coffee in the morning at the house or when you first get to your office. You pick the time, but have your plan there on a consistent basis and take a couple of minutes to go through and review that plan and to read. And I recommend that you say out loud the daily affirmations and you visualize yourself accomplishing your goals and your dreams. And I'm amazed about the power of the human mind, Paul. You know, when we do this and program it, there's been times that I've had a challenge or I was trying to figure out how best to go to the next level in my business, and I would be, you know, before I turn in at night, I would be consciously reviewing the plan or reviewing what it is that I was working on, and then I might wake up the next morning, my mind's been working on it, and all of a sudden I have one of those aha moments where I say, that's the answer, that's what I need to do next. And so if we give ourselves a chance, we'll program our mind to do things in a positive manner.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't happen without some type of a conscious effort.
And I think you said it a second ago. It's helpful to say your affirmations out loud. I know for me, I've tried both ways. I've done the self-talk where you just kind of do it in your own mind. You'll look in the mirror. And the same words, if I don't say them out loud, I don't get the same feeling from it. And I've noticed that when I say out loud a daily affirmation in my own self-talk each and every day, just like you said, my mind is thinking about it in a subconscious way that I'm not even thinking about it. And hours later, minutes later, a day or two later, something pops in my mind that's a solution to whatever it is, whether it's a problem or a good thing or another way to generate revenue or whatever it is, because I've been saying that out loud. And what I do with my self-talk is I look in the mirror and I say it to myself. I physically want to have the words come out of my mouth, and I want my ears to actually hear those same words. It works for me. It's motivating, and it keeps me on focus. And like I said, just like you were saying, is hours, days later, my subconscious will trigger that thought, and my mind is working on it whether I know about it or not. And the answer or the solution just comes to you because you're doing things that is constantly reminding your mind that that's what's important to you.
Paul, I'm a big follower of strategies that successful people in all walks of life. It's been something that's been part of my life mission. That's part of what feeds this particular form. Top performing athletes are a great example to follow. And most top performing athletes have affirmations, and they visualize on a daily basis exactly what it is that they need to do to accomplish their goals and their dreams. Emmitt Smith, I heard speak one time, number one all-time most productive running back, happens to have come from a school that you are fairly fond of, I believe, Paul. But in college anyway. But Emmitt every single day would get up and do this on a regular basis. He did not start or end the day without affirmations and visualizing himself becoming the all-time leading running back in NFL history. And, of course, now he's Hall of Famer, and his record probably will never be broken because of the way the changes that are going about with running backs in the NFL. But, you know, here was a guy that a lot of people said he was too small or too slow. And by having this constant reminder in his mindset and believing it and visualizing it on a daily basis, he was able to achieve his goal. And what a goal that was.
And Michael Jordan says the same exact thing, that his success he attributes to his ability to visualize his own success.
And there was a guy that got cut from his junior varsity basketball team. Wouldn't you like to be the coach that cut Michael Jordan back in high school? But,
no, he probably doesn't have a job any longer.
But he didn't let it define him. He kept working and kept focused.
That's it. And visualizing his own success. So the next part that you talk about is, you know, you've kind of broken down these things. You're visualizing. You've given yourself these daily affirmations. What resources do you need? What do you mean by these resources?
Well, for us in the loan business, you know, you have to ask yourself the tough question: do I have the type of products in the company that I'm working with currently that I can achieve my goals and dreams with? Do I have the processing support that I need to have in order to achieve my goals and dreams? Do I, if I'm going to differentiate myself from my competition, what do I need to invest in that will give me some tool to go to the real estate community with a unique selling proposition, whether it be single property websites or mobile voice routing strategies that we implement, or maybe it's maybe I need to network with top HR professionals or CEOs so I can have our legacy care program with more major employers. But what resources do you need? Things outside of what you in particular may control. Now, you do control who you work with. You control what company you're choosing as a conduit. You certainly have that choice. But you need to ask yourself that tough question, because in processing support probably is the number one thing that I hear from loan officers throughout America in terms of a need. And if you don't have that quality of processing support, you can't ever achieve greatness in this business, because you get on that roller coaster ride where you bring in 5 or 6 loans in a month, and then you're having to manage and micromanage the process or help process the loans, where next month you don't get the leads in because you weren't out doing the day-to-day things that you need to develop more realtor relationships, et cetera. So ask yourself those tough questions, and it may help you get some clarity. Are you working with the right company right now or not as well?
So it's the things that you need to be successful: send out cards, systems, tools, things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If I have an old computer and I need one that is state-of-the-art so that I can work faster, then that might be a resource that you need to have to accomplish your goals.
Now, this congratulations here, guys, is more for the people that are going to be enjoying today's program on a recording, because we want to encourage people to pause, stop, and do these exercises as you're going. For you guys that were on the class at the very beginning, we made mention right off the bat that you've got this class is a very similar presentation on creating a compelling future is on the Mortgage Mastermind Group website under Chad's Corner. That literally is a step-by-step. He walks you through the implementation or going through the form. So for those of you that are watching this and doing it as we go, congratulations. You've made it farther than 98% of loan officers in the country don't take the time to create a plan, to give themselves a set, defined, purposeful plan for purposeful planned implementation. And that's what this is all about. One of the quotes that you had in that previous recording, Chad, I quoted you exactly here because I thought it was so profound. It is proven that those that take the time to create a plan for purposeful planned implementation are the ones who are successful. I believe in that. I truly and honestly believe in that. That if you take the time, each and every person on this call has the ability to be everything you think you can be and more. I believe firmly that everybody on this class has that opportunity and has that chance to be the most successful loan officer that any of us have ever known. It's a matter of planning that success. Take the time to put it down, exactly what you want to do, how you want to do it, what you need to achieve it, and you will find success. Affirm to yourself every day that you are that person that you think you are and that you know you are, and give your mind the ability to achieve the goals without you having to do too much to do so. I love this. Chad, this is one, in my opinion, this is the best thing that we've gone over, because this gives our members a specific designed plan to be successful in the mortgage business.
Well, I want to challenge our members, Paul, take the time to do this. If you don't have time during the work week, sit down on a Saturday morning and block out a day to do this. This is not something that you're going to put together in 30 minutes, folks. At least, not for me anyway. I've done this enough to where I can probably do it faster than a lot of folks that have never even thought about it. But in that recording that Paul's referencing, I will take you through step by step each of the sections, and I even have on their page, pause for this section and go write the completed portion, then come back, and then we'll work on the next section. So it's a very easy step-by-step way. This is the only personal and business plan that I've ever seen for our industry that is unique to our loan industry. It's designed that way. Now, here's an extra bonus for you. If you want to develop some additional strong relationships with real estate agents, modify this form from a business perspective, learn how to do it yourself, modify it for realtors, how many listings do they need, how many buyers do they need, etc., and teach it to your realtors. Have a half a day or a full day creating your compelling future class where you get together, and I'll tell you, when you're working on somebody's goals and dreams with them side by side, it's a great way to build instant rapport.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you have your partners that have these, and you have your monthly or quarterly meetings, you can ask them. You can be an accountability partner. So I know that your goal was to do this year. How are we coming with that goal, and how can I help you? Those who are managers, if you have your loan officers do this and they share it with you, you have a personal connection with them because you know what's really important to them, and you can be a leader for them and a mentor for them by knowing what really motivates them to a passionate level of action. You can help hold them accountable. So 2 other bonus areas that you can use this in addition to just your own officer business.
Love it. You can turn around and teach it to your agents and brand yourself as an expert. And that's hot information right now because, here we are. It's September already, guys. It is already September. These agents are starting to already begin to think about 2015 and planning for that future. Guys, we always love your feedback. It is always awesome to us to hear what you have to say about the different classes. Love to get your feedback on today's class. Again, my opinion on it, my feedback is this is the best class we've done to date, just because it gives you the specific steps you need to create for yourselves that business plan that you need to be successful, to put it on paper, to put it out there, know exactly what you need to do every single month, every single week to be able to have that year that you've always wanted to have. I think it's awesome stuff. Please head over to facebook.com/Mortgage Mastermind Group. That's our regular old fan page. You'll see a little post with a picture on there that says "Big Dream Big." It's some sticks in the sand, says "Dream Big." Make a comment on it. Let us know what you thought about today's class. Let us know what you're thinking about in the future and what you're going to do to create your compelling future. Guys, girls, I am excited to go over this on our next daily mastermind class and talk about implementing these things directly into your businesses. I'm absolutely excited for it. I'd love to talk more about it, and I'm looking forward to doing so with you on the next daily mastermind. Chad, that's all. Go ahead.
Just want to close with this. Folks, this is a game changer. I don't care where you are in your business and your life right now, if you'll take some time to think about what you really want and what your dreams really are and go through this exercise and implement this, it is a massive, massive game changer for you. And I'm looking forward to it impacting your life positively.
Awesome. Thank you again, Chad, for sharing your knowledge and sharing what the things that you've done that have brought you to the successful place that you're at with your mortgage business. Guys, girls, you can achieve the same. We appreciate you taking time on a Friday afternoon. We know you could be anywhere you want to be, and you choose to spend that afternoon with us and invest your time with us. We hope we met that investment of time with a tremendous return in terms of knowledge. We look forward to treating you to more knowledge as the time goes by. Thank you so much for joining us here at Mortgage Mastermind Group on the Top Producer Friday Strategy. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you back here same time, same place next week. Have a great day, everybody.